Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is lesson 56, Team Focus, Minnesota, New England. Please start at the beginning of this series, but if you wanted to jump in, welcome. We're trying to help you win your fantasy football drafts. This is your video textbook. A lot of material does work on redraft, but there's some dynasty tidbits as well, metrics that can be used for that type of league. So let's continue on our journey here. This is the typical table that I have used for all teams just to kind of start the ball rolling. The conference, CNF is the conference. That's NFC North. That's Minnesota. The position is quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. And the positional fantasy point averages, the FPAs, 2016 to 2020. Each year, and the circle in blue is the 5-year tops, and then the grand total gives us a view over the 5 years of usage, I guess, and a focus by the team. And we'll start there. Grand totals looks like, as most teams do, it's wide receivers, and they have a lot more wide receivers that are actually being passed to and whatnot. Running backs are next. Quarterback's a little low, and tight ends are kind of weak sauce as well. Just hasn't, seen the close to the top there, and that was in 2016, 234. Last year's 209, and so we're kind of below threshold of the tight ends. Anyway, we had a good quarterback year in 2020. Nice. And that went along with the wide receivers. 607 wasn't 724, the 2018, but was the second best in 5 years. So I'm convinced that passing is the show here. But I do note that the running back with Dalvin Cook has also come up from 19 to 20. So if you throw out some of the crappy years in 18 and 16, then I think Minnesota looks more well-rounded. They're weak in the tight end, I guess, is the big take-home here. And I think everything else would be fine, and I would be happy to draft the running backs and wide receivers. I'd have to think about the quarterback, still not what I would like to see, but hey, I think having a run game, we don't need the best quarterback in the league. If you're a Minnesota fan, here's kind of the bar graph of the overview, just a visual look-see at the positions, just kind of see where we're at. And we see we're definitely at the top end of the quarterbacks, but not so far from the low, right? I mean, not so far. Clearly, Dalvin Cook has made a difference. So Minnesota with the running threat can win lots of games. Tight ends, nothing really happening there. Wide receivers bounce back from 219, but decline from 218. But I think if you look overall, it's a little noisy here, but I think we're in this range here, and I expect that to continue. Not sure I see any dramatic changes from 2020. So I think a team like Minnesota still needs a piece or two to try to make that Super Bowl run, but they're balanced enough they could definitely make the playoffs, and then, who knows at that point. Here is the the 5-year positional average by percent and 2020 positional average, and this is a measure of team usage. I look at the 5-year level, and again, wide receivers are at 38. I like to see a team at 40. And so it's a little lower, so I think there is some room for improvement there. And the running backs have definitely, last 2 years, helped that 28% number. Tight ends are and the quarterback is a little low at 20%. 2020, I think the idea of tight ends being wide receivers not really moving, kind of staying about the same. If you look at the differences from 2020 versus the 5-year, we see a -1, -1%. Nothing much happening with quarterbacks. Running backs 2%. So overall, it doesn't look very dramatic from the average. So it's like Minnesota really hasn't changed that much. Pieces have moved around, but I'm not sure overall you're getting what you're going to get what 2020 was, I believe. Okay, so below is a PPR kind of ADPs, current ADPs into May. Looking, Kirk Cousins is an 11th round pick. He's right in there with a lot of these 12th and 10th and 11th rounders. QB2 for sure in Superflex. I would not take him as my QB1 only. He could be a good stream option if you're going to gather another QB in that range and try to stream them out. That might be a viable option. That's nothing wrong with that. Cook is the third running back off the board. Given the consistency, that probably is about right. But injury always looms, and I'm just not sure how much I'm taking Cook right now. And in best ball, I'm not sure I've taken him at all, actually. Just hadn't had a chance. Madison is probably a good handcuff. I don't know if the 10th or 11th round, how much, that seems fair. Not sure that's a bargain. Certainly at 12th, 13th, I would be watching, but I believe people that grab Cook are probably going to circle back around, and I'm not sure Madison's going to be there late for any kind of value. Herb Smith, 13th round, tight end 2 type. Yeah, what can you say? Nothing expected other than probably what we got last year. The public says that Justin Jefferson beats out Adam Thielen. I'm probably taking Thielen over Jefferson because he's cheaper. Okay, probably not taking both. Maybe in best ball, but given the capacity of Cousins, not sure I'm going that route. But there you go. I think those are fair prices. I mean, if Jefferson slipped below Thielen, then I would probably take him. But right now, Thielen's cheaper, and he's hasn't done anything that would discourage me from taking him. I think there's a hope that Jefferson moves up and is better than Thielen, kind of the Diggs role. But, I haven't seen that yet. I think there's flashes, it's understandable. I just don't think that's a bargain price. Whereas I think Thielen is close to fair to bargain at 4. I guess is how I'm leaning right now. But overall, I'm not sure what's really changing. Let's take a look at the difference levels here. Here's the 5-year in blue, the 2020 positional average in red. The triangle is the difference. Here is the negative here. I drew the line on this axis here is the difference. Quarterback, tight end below, running back increase, wide receivers decrease, but notice not a lot. Pretty much ho-hum, nothing dramatic forecast for 2020. Certainly, 2021. Injuries always, complicate the equation here. But right now, this is kind of where I'm at. Minnesota, I believe, for it to continue and have a shot at the playoffs, has to keep all its pieces fairly injury-free. If they lose a Thielen, a Cook, or a Cousins, I think that puts them in trouble. I'm not sure their depth here. Some teams have more depth than others. I don't see Minnesota having that depth. Be aware, looking at the deep plays there, I didn't even go too deep past the top two wide receivers. I just don't know what else is out there. If you've got a deep bench, then maybe you can, if you draft one of these wide receivers or running backs, you could grab a depth play, but it'd have to be an awful big, long, deep bench here for me to go for anything. Okay, that's my view of Minnesota. Probably a ho-hum view, but there it is. Conference, we're AFC East. This is New England. Lots of moving parts here. The better years were behind 2016 and 17. We see a lot of blue circles there. 2019 was a dramatic wide receiver passing year, and 2020 was a down year across. Pretty weak sauce. And the idea that somehow adding pieces is something's going to change, they're going to need some more dramatic pieces to get back, and I don't know if that's possible in 2021. I'm bearish on New England there. Fact, to me, the AFC East is kind of a mystery conference, given that New England, Miami's probably, people are thinking, have a shot at taking it, and Buffalo probably is the show. 5 years, running backs and wide receivers almost the same. So New England biases to the running back relative to the wide receiver. Tight ends have been given up in the last 2 years, actually 3. New England's trying to change that. They got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, so looks like they're trying to add a piece there. Maybe gives Cam a short target to shoot at, trying to up that game. The activity is going to come from somewhere, probably the wide receivers. So I don't know if moving pieces around gets New England what they want in 2020. It may be still continuing a building year for New England. Well, I'm curious to see, but that's kind of what I'm thinking based on these metrics right now. Here's the overall. You see the quarterback has declined from the better years. Running backs have declined. Tight ends have super declined. And wide receivers declined. So I see declines all across here. That adds to my pessimism of 2021. Okay, here's the numbers. Okay, you can wish and hope and dream. Here's what 2020 brought us. And that really, I just don't know if they drafted enough that 2021 is going to be a bounce back. I mean, I just I'm bearish. Okay, I'm skeptical and bearish of this team right now. Positional usage 5-year versus 2020. Wide receivers and running backs about 30 something percent. Wide receivers way below 40. That is always an issue with me. Over reliance on the running game seems to be the only piece they had. And in 2020, that is what we saw. Quarterback did go up 4%. That's good. The running back went up. The tight end. So basically, they sacrificed the tight end and put all the effort in the other pieces. And you saw what they got by doing that. So in their head, let's go get some tight ends and try to balance that out. I don't know if that's the answer. Okay, Newton is a 14th round, way down buried. Uh, you know, he might be a good streamer. He does run things in. He does have some good games. He's inconsistent. I would not take him as a QB1 or a high QB2. I would wait. But he's about almost free, 14th round here. Harris White, Michelle. Public really thinks Harris takes over and White and Michelle trade out. I guess Harris is the main bulk, then White is the pass catcher, and Michelle is the spells Harris. Is that kind of how we're going? 7th, 12th, and 14th. That's not strong endorsement for any of them. I'm taking White in best ball if it's PCR based. Sorry, PPR. I'm a scientist thinking of PCR. I don't know if I've grabbed any Harris shares right now. Probably White only. Hunter Henry and Sanu, they think Henry, just age and whatnot, is 7th. Sanu is 12th. Probably would take Henry. Look for 8th round. Try to get a little bargain. People may be over enamored, thinking they're going to get Thunder and Lightning in the tight end, and I just don't know if this is that team because the quarterback is different. The dynamics, it's not Brady back here. If it was Brady, then I think Henry and Smith would be 1 to 2 rounds above where they're at. People would be really excited. I think here they're ho-hum. And notice I only ranked one wide receiver, Aguilar, round 14. He's about free. I think that's probably fair. He's probably a free square, a darts stab, but there's nothing. Looks to me like they tried to bolster their tight ends and they're going to kiss the wide receivers goodbye, or maybe there's a secret wide receiver out there that we don't know about yet. Just not seeing the dynamic nature that I think this team needs to be a super contender. Not picking up a lot of these plays. I guess White, Henry would be the plays, and Newton, if I was in a super flex, would be fine. Okay. Here is the difference. Here, can't draw a straight line. Wide receivers, running backs, tight end, declined. Quarterbacks, they're okay. Nothing just really, I'm just kind of ho-hum by the team. I think we kind of went through that. Nothing here changes my opinion. Nothing, when I look visually, nothing's really jumping out at me. Okay, I think I've done this. Yeah, let's see. Yep. So we have done this. This is the process. We will continue our journey and move on. Please come back. Hope we're having fun here. Don't let my ho-humness dissuade you from finding bargains and go and doing your own research. But I hope I at least give you a foundation to start from to do your own research. I always encourage you to do your own research. Okay, take care. Come back.